Hey, welcome back to the Abundance Tree Podcast. I'm your host, Janice Luke, and I'm here with my co-host.
April Capri.
Look at her. She's getting ready for the game, baby.
Getting ready for the game. Getting ready
She's
for the
getting
game.
loosened up. She's stretching and everything, girl.
Yes.
How are
Yes.
you?
I'm good, girl. How are you?
Good. You're looking nice. You look really nice. I love that blouse. That's really nice. I like it.
You. Thank you so much, girl.
Yeah,
I
you're
am
welcome.
loving. I wish my hair would do that. Oh my God. I am
Girl,
it.
I took out the twist this morning and it kind of just puffed up.
No, it puffed up really
I
pretty,
took
girl.
out all the twists, but thank you.
It's so pretty.
Thank you.
Oh,
Well, we have an interesting and fun guest, I think, tonight. So who do we have?
oh, we really do. So
Yeah.
we have a transformative figure in the realm of life and business coaching. He has navigated the challenges of the coaching world himself, so he brings a unique perspective to the table. With a journey marked by perseverance and learning from setbacks, he has crafted a done with you and a done for you program, which is a departure from the conventional done to you approach. I love
I
it.
love it.
For over a decade, he is also been known as the architect of the Warrior's Life Code and has been guiding entrepreneurs in shifting from worry and lack of abundance into transforming them into true life warriors. And he has life as an acronym now. I have to ask him what that stands for. So join us as we look deeper into his insights on transcending worry and embracing life. We have Martin Salama.
All right.
Yay!
Yes,
Hey,
Martin Salama is
Martin.
in the house. Show yourself, Martin. There you go. Yay!
There he is.
Hey,
Hey,
Had to
Martin.
find the
Martin.
right button.
I know, right?
Oh, you got this. You got this. You're
Yes.
here now.
Thank you so
Great to
much for
see
coming
you.
on. Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much, ladies. I'm so excited to be here with you
Oh,
both.
thank you. Thank you.
Awesome.
So, yeah. So tell us about your journey. Tell us
Yeah.
Oh,
about
my
yourself.
journey.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me tell you, I'm known as the architect of the Warrior's Life Code. And for me, life stands for live incredibly full every day. And
Oh,
what a
That was
better
my
place to
question.
be than under the abundance tree with you two ladies talking about abundance and
awesome.
living incredibly full every day, right?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
In the right
Yes.
place.
We
I
want
love
we
that
want the
acronym.
fruit from that tree to come dropping down on us, right?
Amen.
Absolutely. You're
Yes.
right.
Yes. You got to
Right.
Well,
plant the
I
seed to
wish
get
to
the
say
fruit.
that I was always this happy and joyful, but I'd be lying. I wasn't. I mean, I always had a good disposition, but I had my ups and downs in my life. And one of the biggest downs I can go back to almost over 15 years ago. Remember the year 2008?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
That was a fun
Yes.
year, wasn't it?
Oh my
Oh, yes.
goodness. Describe fun or define fun. I don't know.
Oh my God. So for
Yes.
me, my wife and I were working on a project for 5 years to build a multi-million-dollar tennis court, tennis center, and health club down in New Jersey by the Jersey Shore.
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah, it took us 5 years because we came up with the idea. My wife came to me. I just closed the business. She said, "Okay, you're looking for something to do. I need. I've been trying to play tennis lately, take tennis lessons, and I can never get any lessons other than like 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night because there's no courts available.
Hmm.
Maybe we should open up tennis courts." Now I got to tell you, ladies, the irony of it all is that I am not an athlete. I
Uh-oh.
do not play any sports. You could even call me an athletic supporter. That's how little bit I play sports.
Oh no.
But
Yeah.
I
Awesome.
was I can now look back and realize that I was always a people pleaser. And my wife wanted me to do that. In my mind, I'm like, okay, I want to make my wife happy. So let's go down this road. So we start looking into it and we do a feasibility study. And the guy says, yeah, there's definitely a need for tennis courts, 7, 8, 10 courses, tennis courses around there. But if you think you're going to make money just by doing a tennis courts, it's not going to make you the kind of money you think. You have to have other things like a health club, a spa, and all those things. Like, okay. So we start looking into finding the land. We find the land. Then we have to find an architect, an engineer, and go through all these things. And this whole time, we're putting money into it. We're getting investors. We're putting up a plan, a business plan, and all that. We go to the city, and they're like, "Yeah, this sounds good, but we need you to do other things." So the money's still going in, and the architects are being paid, and the engineers being paid. They go, "Okay, it looks good, But now we want to know, the city tells us, if, what's the feasibility, what is it going to do to the traffic? And do you have enough parking? So go hire a civil engineer. And we keep going back to them. And this is taking us 4 or 5 years to get to. Now, if it was 2006 or 2007 and this happened, going to the bank would have been like picking a pocket, really, like going to Costco, right? And you know how the ladies at the end of Costco give you free samples? That's what it was like at the bank at the time. They were giving money away.
Wow.
Couldn't give it away fast enough. I refinanced my house 2 or 3 times over 5 years because I kept on saying, okay, we'll reevaluate your house. Oh, you paid 500. Well, now 700, no, 900, a million. And they kept on giving me all the money I needed to keep funding the project as well as going to my investors.
Must be nice.
So now we finally get all the approvals from the city. It's the summer of 2008.
Oh no.
Yeah. Oh no, exactly right. April, you know my story.
Oh no.
I go to the bank and I'm like, okay, we're ready. We've got over 3 million in. We're ready to go. It's a $15 million project. He said you'll lend us the money. Well, things are kind of changed. We're not lending right now. I'm like, what are you talking about? For the last 4 years, 5 years, you told me, don't worry, we'll be here. Well, things have changed. A month later, Bernie Madoff, the subprime loans, the entire financial world falls apart like a house of cards. And you know where I am? I'm the Joker card on the bottom of the deck.
Oh, no.
And I wasn't laughing, ladies. I was not laughing.
No, I'm thinking about that. That had to have crushed you guys after 5 years of all the unexpected things. Like, who thinks to like organize stuff with the city when you want to open up, a tennis court,
Right. This was going to be something magnificent. 100,000 square feet, was going to have a full gym, a basketball court, pool, 7, 8 tennis courts, a spa, you name it. It was going to be gorgeous. But that was it. Right then, I stopped paying my mortgage. I stopped paying my car payments. About 3 months later, my son says, Dad, look outside. They're towing away your car. And there goes my BMW. That never happened to me before. My car was repossessed.
Oh, no.
And my house went into foreclosure.
Oh,
I guess you could say, luckily for us, we lived in New Jersey because there were so many foreclosures that it took them years until they finally remembered about us. Oh, yeah, we got that house over there on Valley Forge we didn't do anything with. But I went into an immediate depression. I lost everything. I was wiped out, and for about a year, I was depressed. I was really, I look back now and it was situational depression. What happened to me put me into such a deep depression that at times I thought I couldn't even get out of bed. I started going to therapy and even some coaching. And about a year later, I said, okay, I got to figure this out. I got to move forward. And I said to myself, I have a chance to reinvent myself. I've always been a businessman. I've always been, that kind of guy who has a business and all that stuff. Let me think about what I really want to do. I don't have any money anyway, so it's not like I can open another business. So I thought about it. And I remembered over my whole life, I was always involved in community events. I was always a leader. And as a leader, people come into the organizations and they go, I don't know what I could do. I'm like, I can't do what you're doing. I'm like, I don't want you to do what I'm doing. I want you to do what you're good at. Tell me about yourself. And they would come in and they would get involved and they would be great at what they could do. And as I looked at that, I realized as a leader, I was bringing out the best in people. And that's what a coach does. So I decided to become a life coach. So I start looking into all the different life coaching out there. And I find a coaching school that I like. And I said, decide this is what I'm going to do. I even go to them. I said, look, I really can't even afford to pay the full tuition. And if I go for financing, they're going to turn me down because my house is being foreclosed. I haven't paid my bills. I said, if you tell me that you'll take me, I promise, let's set up a payment plan. I'll pay you every month. And they said, okay, fine. But here's the deal. You don't get your certification until you're paid off. I go, that's a fair deal. Fair deal. Okay. So I started the school. I started making the payments and it was going to be 2-3 months away. Now, until that happened, about 2 months before, it was my 24th wedding anniversary. And my wife says to me, I'm done. I want a divorce.
Mm.
I'm like, oh my God, why does
Oh,
everything keep
no.
happening to me?
Oh,
Mm.
I'm like, what the heck? I mean, I did everything. I was like, I was devastated.
Mm.
You can imagine what that feels like, ladies.
oh yeah, we're
I have
part of the
a good
club.
idea. We have a good
Yeah.
idea. So yeah,
Oh, okay.
it's
Are you
not
part,
good.
you're all part of the same tribe here, ladies?
Yeah,
Right?
I'm
Yeah,
definitely in that tribe, baby.
it's not a good feeling. It's not a good feeling.
It is
So
No
really
matter whether
not.
you ask for the
yeah,
divorce or you're asked for it, it's a tough
right.
thing to go through.
It's very very hard. Yes.
It
Right.
is.
And
Yes.
I looked up to God and I go, what the hell? I'm like, come on, give me a break.
Mm.
And I think he tapped me on the shoulder and he said, hey, buddy, so you want to go to life coaching school? Why don't you work on yourself first? Use this as an
Mm.
opportunity to work on yourself first.
Yeah.
And I
Wow.
mentioned to you earlier that I was a people pleaser. I didn't know I was a people pleaser. I always thought I was just trying to make everybody happy. As I started going through this life coaching, and before I went, they sent me a syllabus. They said, read some of the books on this list. And one of them was a book called The Four Agreements. Did you ever read that book, ladies?
Never heard of it.
Oh
No.
my
Yeah.
God.
The four agreements you said.
The Four Agreements.
It's called The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Don is Spanish for like sir, mister, like that. So the four agreements are: be impeccable with your word. Don't take anything personally. Don't make assumptions.
Mm.
Always do your best.
Mm.
Aren't they
Those are some
great
gems.
agreements?
Those are some gems right there. Yeah.
Right. So when
Love
I
it.
heard don't take anything personally,
Mm.
it was as if this man was telling me a secret that the world had been telling me my entire life. But until that minute, I wasn't ready to hear it. And because you know why I was ready to hear it? Because I was at the low point in my life. And I was ready for anything. I said, you know what, God, if this is what you think I should be doing, okay, I'm in. I'm all in. And part of me was like, maybe this will save my marriage. But I think deep down inside, I came to realize over time that my marriage wasn't savable. And looking back now, other than my four children, and now I have 8 grandchildren, other than those 4 children, the day she told me she wanted a divorce was probably the best gift she ever gave me.
Wow.
Wow.
Sometimes it be like that.
Yeah. And
Sometimes
that's
it's like that.
that's the hardest thing in my opinion to because I tend to be the same way about being a people pleaser, and I
Yeah.
tend to wear my feelings on my sleeve for much of my adulthood life, and it took me a long time to realize not to take a lot of things personal. So
Yeah.
that's very hard to do. So,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. It's
yeah,
very difficult. It's very difficult. And
yes,
it took a long time for me to really embrace that, accept it, understand it, live with it. So that was like the first of the bricks off the wall that started to tumble over time. And as a result, when I went to that first coaching weekend, they said, you don't have to be who you think you have to be. You can be whoever you want to be.
Mhm.
And I was like, really? I don't have to make everybody else happy. I don't have to prove myself. And I
Wow.
started to realize the layers started to come in that I was a people pleaser, that as a result of being a people pleaser, things like I took everything personally, like we talked about. I was a control freak, right? I was always looking for the recognition. As a people pleaser, you want people to say, Martin, you're the best. I love you, right? Because this is a
Mhm.
recognition for what you're doing. And when all those things weren't happening, the the uh, the dragon came out.
Mm.
I was so angry. I had a short temper. I had a very short temper that I would just like explode like a nuclear reactor, would react to everything. And I started to realize that it was all part of the same thing. It was me taking things personally, me needing to please everybody. So I came after that weekend and I said, here's where I'm going to start. I'm going to start by saying, I'm going to take care of myself first, as long as I'm not hurting anybody. Right. And that was my way
Yeah,
of starting it. Because I was always afraid that if I said no, I was hurting someone.
Mm.
that's so powerful. That's an easy mindset to get stuck into. I have to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
The art of saying no is powerful. Sometimes
it
you
Yeah.
have
is.
to say no and
Yeah.
set boundaries.
Right. Now, in my marriage, my wife knew that if I said no, eventually, if she kept going, I would say yes. Now, I'm not blaming her for that.
Mhm.
That was on me. I was too weak. Looking back now, I was afraid that nobody would ever love me again. I was afraid that she wouldn't love me if I didn't say yes. And it had to do with my lack of self-worth, lack of self-esteem. And I had to learn that that wasn't what it was all about. And that if she didn't love me for who I was, then maybe it wasn't the right thing in the first place all along.
There you go.
That's a
another
very
mic
hard
drop.
lesson.
Yeah, it is a hard lesson, but that's another jam right there, y'all.
It really is a gem.
Right.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
So here I am going through life coaching and getting divorced at the same time. And I think God has a
Wow.
sense of humor because he put me in the right place at the right time.
Right. Right.
You know the saying, man plans and God laughs.
What's it called?
Man plans and God laughs.
I'm screaming.
It seems to be that way, though. I can relate.
I can relate too.
Yeah. So that's where I am now. I'm on this
Okay.
journey. So this is 2009, 2010, as I
Okay.
start to go on this journey of going through life coach training and understanding that I've gotten divorced. I'm out of the house now. I moved back to I was living in New Jersey. I moved back to my childhood home, literally my childhood home in Brooklyn, New York. I moved back into my mom's house. My mom, thank God, was living with her husband. My father had passed away years before. I mean, so I wasn't living with my mom, but she still had her house. So I was able to live there. And I had the support of my 4 older sisters and their families around me in New York. And my children were living there, my married children. So I had a lot of support around me going back to Brooklyn. But I did start from scratch. I had no money left. I was, like I said, I was figuring out how to pay even for the coach training. And by the time I finished training, I was able to pay it all off, by the way.
Good.
But
Awesome.
because I believed in what I was doing. And if I did nothing else in my life, going to that coaching training changed my life.
Wow.
I became a new person.
That is so good.
Yeah. So I learned that I had to stop taking things personally. I had to understand what that meant. And I became more aware. Now, I'm being very careful to not say I became more self-aware, because people think, once they become aware, they become self-aware. And I believe there's a difference between self-aware and self-conscious.
Okay.
I think you need to be more intentional with the spaces you're in, maybe. Is that what you're getting at?
Well, it's gotten to the point that I've gotten so good at discussing it that I mentioned to you ladies before we started the interview that I wrote a book recently called Warrior to Warrior. Right? I know my Brooklyn accent will probably screw that up, so you'll see W-O Warrior to W-A Warrior. Right. And
say it 3 times faster now.
Yeah, right. It will really screw it up, especially my Brooklyn accent. And so I also came out with a card deck. And one of the cards in the deck is called Self-Aware versus Self-Conscious.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
So should I read it to you?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay. So self-conscious comes from a place of negative energy, which is guilt, conflict, and doubt. Self-consciousness is more outward directed. It's being more concerned about what others are thinking of you and how the situation is going to affect you. You probably react to uncomfortable situations instead of respond. When you're self-conscious, you're questioning your decisions, you're second-guessing yourself, allowing other people's opinions and judgments to sway your own judgment. Self-consciousness comes from a mindset of lack, complaining, and blaming. It's basically the ego taking over. Right?
Yeah.
Well, let's read what self-awareness says. Self-awareness comes from a place of positive energy, acceptance, contentment, and self-assuredness. Self-awareness is more inward facing. You have an accurate and realistic understanding of how you are responding to situations and how you feel about things. It enables you to approach interactions and circumstances from a more balanced, richer stance. Self-awareness comes from a mindset of abundance, taking responsibility, and gratitude. It's the humility side of you.
Yeah, I love that. That's such a big difference, though. Some people probably kind of, use them hand in hand or like synonyms, but that's the big difference between the two.
That's right.
Yeah, I've never heard anybody pick them apart. Just that, you know what I mean, side by side. That's really cool. I like that.
Thank you. Thank you. And that's why when someone says I'm self-aware, I go, are you
Yeah.
really?
Right.
And
Let's
I'm
think
not
about
putting
that.
them down. I just want them to embrace, okay, they may be aware, but are they self-aware or are they really self-conscious?
Right. Like, where is it coming from?
Right.
Mhm.
And you know what? Very often we will make excuses for ourselves. We'll rationalize that everything we're doing or saying is right. But I believe that the word rationalize is
Mhm.
really two words:
Mm.
rational
No lies.
lies.
Wow.
Right?
Ooh.
Rational lies. What's rational lies? Let me take out the card. Okay.
I love it.
That is so cool.
When you
Yeah.
think you may be doing something that goes against your values, you will rationalize all the reasons why it's okay. What you're really doing is lying to yourself that it's rational to think that. They're nothing more than rational lies.
Nice.
Hey,
Yeah.
hey, let me have
That's
my
deep.
rational lies, okay?
No, no.
Don't bust my bubble like that no more.
That is deep. You know what? That's
That is
deep,
so
you know.
true.
Yeah. I think I struggled with being self-conscious for a long time, like with that, you
Yeah.
know, and so I think I'm just now at my ripe old age, you know, but I think I'm just now kind of coming into the self-awareness side of me, you know, because I believe I struggled with being self-conscious and worried about what others thought and trying to please everyone and rationalizing a lot of things too.
Hey,
So
listen,
it's
it took
very
me till I
easy.
was close to 50 to
Oh
understand this.
yeah,
So
I'm right at
you're
50.
way ahead of me.
No, no, I'm 50. So no,
All right.
it's same here. So, but
Wow.
it's such a good,
You look
it's great
fantastic,
lesson.
Janice, for
Thank
50.
you.
I really did not think you were 50 years old. So
No, thank you. But it takes a lot to get to that point. I think it's a lot of life for
a
me.
lot of life, a lot of life.
Yeah,
And for me, life
yeah,
is live incredibly full every day.
yeah.
Right.
There
And
you
for
go.
me, what that means is living happy and having a meaningful life, both.
Mm,
Right. Because you can be happy without any meaning, and you can have a meaningful life and not be happy. So, what's the difference? Happiness is self love, self care, even selfish. And by the way, selfish is a good thing sometimes,
I think so.
right?
yeah, agreed.
Meaningful is selfless, doing for others. So if
Okay.
you could figure out how to have both of those in your life, now you live incredibly full every day life.
That's where I'm at,
Wow.
finding the balance of this.
Right. It's
Finding the balance.
hard.
It
Yeah.
doesn't mean it has to be 50-50. It's just so that
Right.
they're both part of your life. So
Right.
I always hate the word balance because it means people think it means everything's got to be even. It
Equal?
doesn't.
Hmm.
No.
Right.
I don't
Right.
think it has to be equal, but it has to make sense.
Right.
You know what I
Exactly.
mean? It could be
Exactly.
60-40, but it has to be whole, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, so this is where my journey took me. And I wish I could say I just woke up one day. It was like that. It's a journey. It's a
Yeah.
process. And look, in the beginning, when I was first getting divorced, my wife would call me up and ask me a question or say something, and I would lose it because she didn't realize she was doing this. I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt. She would say something like, I don't want to fight, but in my head, what I heard was, let's get ready to rumble. Right? Let's
Mhm.
go.
But I don't want to, but yeah.
But
Right.
yeah.
Right. And maybe what
Yeah.
she was really saying is, I really don't want to fight. But I
Yeah.
heard, okay, let's go. And then I would get into it with her. She'd tell me what the thing is, and I would lose it.
Mm.
And as I was going through coach training, I understood that this was a hot button for me, that I
Yeah.
needed to disconnect the wires from that hot button.
Mhm.
So unfortunately, I went the extreme. She would call up and say that I don't want to fight, and I go, oh, okay. And I'd hang up on her.
Oh no.
And she'd call me up. She goes,
Oh
what
no.
did you do that for?
Right.
I'm like, well, you said you didn't want to fight. And I had to find the middle ground. So that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. It's not something you can do overnight for two reasons. One, it takes time to change.
It
And two,
does.
Mm,
any good change needs to take time so that it can be sustainable.
So true.
exactly.
So
And
true.
authentic, you know, and real change, you know, not just not
Yeah.
superficial, not, that's so powerful. That's awesome.
Thank you. Thank you. So that's where I
Yeah.
am now. I'm now out of my divorce. I'm living in New York. I'm coaching a little bit. And I'm also working at a dead end job. I needed some job. I needed some money in my life. And I was kind of happy, but I wasn't crazy. I hadn't come up with this life concept yet. And what was happening was I was rationalizing that, oh, I can't do this, I can't do that, I can't be coached. And I finally had to look myself in the mirror and say, you know what? You're just giving yourself the excuses. You're doing rationalize to yourself.
Yeah.
Right. And you're allowing it to happen. And then I got to the heaviest I ever was in my life. And I looked in the mirror one day, I said, hey, buddy, you got to change, not just for your weight, for your health, for your stress, for everything. And a friend of mine that I went to coach training with was on Facebook talking about how he lost a ton of weight and was feeling great doing videos for 30 minutes at home. I was like, I could wake up a little earlier and work out and then don't have to worry about running to a gym that I couldn't afford anyway, and work from home, run upstairs, take a shower, and then go to work. So I contacted him and he told me about this guy, Sean T25.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
remember him.
Yeah. I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I started doing all those different videos from that company called Beachbody. Great
Yeah, that's
company,
crazy.
great videos.
Yeah.
And in 9 months, I lost 65 pounds.
Oh,
Wow,
wow.
congratulations.
So it works. You're
works.
proof in the pudding.
But also what happened was he says, I'm going to coach you. So I had an accountability partner. I had somebody to talk to about what I was going through. And I
Oh,
started to realize every time I said I couldn't afford to be coached, that was me rationalizing that I can't, instead of saying, how can I? And I changed my mindset from I can't to how can I, or I can. Every time you say I can't, it's a rationalize.
Yeah. Agreed.
It's a cop out.
Yeah, one would say like limiting beliefs is probably about the same.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I started changing those things about me. And as a result of all this weight loss and eating better and reading better and stuff, I started to like myself and I started to love myself. And now men don't love to hear those kind of things because they're like, oh, I don't want to hear this mushy, woo-woo stuff.
It's so important though.
but
I
it's
mean,
real though. No, it's real.
It really is real. It's really real.
No, it's really
Yeah.
real. Like not even from a gender aspect. I think just
So
from
now,
a human perspective.
exactly.
Like,
Now I started to
it's
have my
real.
self-confidence and I started to shift from self-conscious to self-aware. And that's
Good.
where I started to understand the difference. And I started dating. And here's the difference. I knew that I didn't want to marry the same person, even in a different body. And I had learned through coaching what values were. And looking back now, I can say that my values and my wife's values were never the same. As a result, we were in a very codependent relationship. And we were both victims of the marriage and we were both culprits to the failure of the marriage. I'm not going to say it was 50-50. I did some things, she did some things. We were both the problem in the marriage. And we had many good years as well. Like I said, I have 4 beautiful children. But I also had to realize that if I'm going to move forward, I have to find somebody who my values were similar. So I go out on dates and I would talk to these women and they didn't even know I was interviewing them on their values. I was just having conversations with them. And I went out on dates and yes, no, yes. And then one day I started going out with this woman and she was checking off all the boxes. And we went out again and she's checking off all the boxes. I'm like, all right, this is something that could be. And we kept going out. And about a month later, I turned to her. I said, I have to tell you something. And I don't need to say for you to say it back to me, but I need to tell it to you that I'm falling in love with you because I love who you are and that you see me as I am and you're not trying to change me. And about 2 weeks later, she told me she loved me too. And I'm very proud to say 2 years later, we got married.
Congratulations.
And we've been married for about almost 6 years.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
That's
so now
huge.
I move forward through my life and I put that whole life stuff together as a result of everything that was going on.
Wow. Just
That's
living life
amazing.
and then able to come out of that and create your own coaching program and helping others do the same that had similar situations. That's so powerful. That's hard to do. I mean, for you to realize the difference between the two and come out from being the person wearing your feelings on your sleeve to becoming more self-aware, and that you found another life partner. That's so awesome too. Congratulations on that.
Thank
That you're
you.
able to find somebody and recognize that, and find someone that's really going to see your value. That's so important, you know.
Absolutely.
Thank
And
you so much, ladies.
I gotta give you some flowers too, because you had blow after blow after blow after blow after blow after blow, and then another blow, and then okay, I'm okay now, and then another blow. Like it was just like, you know, from even building your business and or you know, trying to build your business from the old one that you said it didn't work out, to that scale. Like you got together $3 million from scratch. That's
Yep.
That's amazing.
that's amazing in itself. And then to have that not work out after all, like everything, the blood, sweat, and tears that you poured into it, and then to kind of, you know, go from being there to not being able to pay your bills, that is something, and then getting divorced, that is something, and then you're working on yourself. So just, I have to shout you out for making it through all that and coming out a better person and not
Thank
a
you.
worse one, because that can turn a lot of people in the other way. So
Yes.
that's just, it says a lot about your character. You're amazing. I just had to say that to you for real.
Absolutely.
Oh, thank you, April.
Absolutely.
Really, thank you so, so much. It means a lot to me to hear that.
For real.
Because, you know, again, there's still that I call myself a recovering people pleaser now, you know, because I still like to hear those things. As much as I don't take things personally, I like to hear that people can recognize my struggles, but more importantly, my victories as a result of that. I went from being somebody who was worried all the time to a warrior. And to me, that the difference is someone who comes out of this adversity like me and like you ladies with whatever you've gone through to where you are now and are stronger as a result of it. That makes you the warrior.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But the difference is now you're not seeking it.
Right.
When you seek it and don't get it, it hits a little different. But when you just get it, just natural, you know,
100%.
I'm thank
Beautiful
you for
way to put
receiving
that.
that.
Thank you, April.
Absolutely. So we got a couple of minutes left. We got a few minutes, but I want you to go into like, what are you doing now? Like, how are you helping other people, like with your coaching?
Right. So I have a couple of coaching programs. One is where I show people how to shift their mindset from lack to abundance.
Okay.
And then I've also taken this program and put it into a new program that I've come out with, which helps coaches and consultants go to 7 figures in their business and beyond within 2 years, guaranteed.
Guaranteed?
Guaranteed.
7 figures guaranteed. I've never in my life heard
within
anybody
2
say that.
years. Within 2 years.
Within 2
that's quick.
years.
Wow.
Within 2 years.
That's
And I tell them like this, I guarantee you 2 things along the way. Number 1, there will be chaos. So get ready for it. And number 2, if you don't give up on yourself, I won't give up on you. And what made me put this program together was over the last 10, 12 years, as I became a coach and as I was coaching people, I wanted to put together a program where I could impact so many people. So I would sign up for these coach to coaches programs where they would promise me the moon and the sun and all these things, and I'd pay up front. And then all of a sudden I'd start getting through it. And it was either me or them that wasn't delivering. And most of the times it was them, or they said, oh, we thought you knew how to do this. I'm like, how would I know how to do this? And I realized it was because I made assumptions about them and that they thought that, oh, everybody can do whatever. I'll just show them what to do. And they'll know how to make Facebook ads and they'll know how to build up a website and landing pages and all that stuff. And it's not easy. And they'll know how to do, all the different things to get people in.
For real.
And I realized that the problem is that they didn't have any skin in the game. Right. For anybody out there that don't know what that means is it was all my money on the line. They just said, I'll take your money and good. So what I did was I put together a program where 87.5% of the value of my coaching, of my program, doesn't get invested in me until you start making money.
Wow.
It's based on what you do. And when you hit certain benchmarks, you go, well, I'm doing great. So let me continue to invest in Martin because he's been proving himself. And if he doesn't prove himself, I don't pay him anymore.
There's your guarantee, y'all. That's awesome.
That is a guarantee. That's very respectable that you would be willing to do that. Because now, like, there's almost no integrity in the game left. Everybody wants money up front, no refund. Like, and they kind of don't care how you do. But you seem really invested in your program.
I care about my clients. I'm very
Yeah.
selective who comes into my program because I want to make sure that I'm going to get them to cross the finish line of making at least $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Wow.
That's
Wow.
7 figures, ladies and gentlemen, for anybody out there who hasn't figured that part out yet.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
So how am I going to
You
get
said
them
at
to $1
least
million?
$1 million.
Because I need them to be invested in it. So part of the program, what I do is I believe like this: to get to $100,000 takes a system. To get to $1 million takes two more things. Number one, mindset, and number two, scalability. And the scalability will get you to beyond $1 million. So you start it in that second section where you're getting to the million. So how do I get you the mindset part? I give you my course, which is the Warrior to Warrior. And every week when we get on our calls, we talk about which parts you watched in the videos. Did you do the homework? What are you getting out of that? And how can I support you to shift your mindset from lack to abundance?
Wow. So
Ooh.
powerful.
So
Y'all better-
it's on one side, it's the blueprint and the templates to get you where you want to go, but it's only as good, and that gets you, helps you get the results. But the results only are as good as how much you believe in me, in the program, and most importantly, in yourself.
That's so
And
powerful.
drop the mic real quick.
I
Drop the mic.
know.
Drop the mic.
Y'all better get connected
Oh
with
my
Martin.
God.
Y'all need to get in the description. We're gonna have everything there and get connected with Martin's program. And
Thank you.
it's
Thank you.
it's a guarantee that you're gonna work hard for them. Up front that you're already putting yourself out there. And
And by the way, why do I say 2 years? Because stuff is going to come up.
yeah,
I really believe I can get you there in a year. But
Mm.
if something comes up, I want to under promise and over deliver. I mean, I want to over promise and under deliver.
I know what you're saying.
I
I
want
love
to
you
over
for that
promise and
too.
under deliver. Tell you 2
Yes.
years. I want to under promise and over deliver. Right. I want to tell you 2 years, but get you there in a year.
There you
Right.
go.
Because I've been in too many of these programs, like I said, that were done with you and done for you, but really what they were done to you.
And I love
Mm.
that too, that you said that
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
My
Very true.
program is done with you and for you. So I know
Oh,
it's running out of time. So thank you, ladies. I
Yeah.
really appreciate you being here, letting me be on your show. What am I talking about?
Yeah.
For me being here with you.
Oh, thank you for coming on. You blessed us.
Yeah.
And I'm sure this is falling on ears, like a lot of people needed to hear this, like don't give up, keep going. When things get bad, get crazy, keep going.
You're going to fall down
Get
7
help.
times, get up 8.
I
Right
know
there
that.
you go. Absolutely. I've done a lot of
Absolutely.
falling down and getting up quite a bit, so I can relate to your story. And we're so appreciative that you took time with us tonight to come on. And y'all, you need to follow Martin and tell us where we can find you. Like, where can people find you and your
All right.
website?
So I kind of made it easy for you to find me. I came up with a website called connectwithmartin.com.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay. So there you can get my book. You can get my cards. You can also click on a link to have a conversation with me for free. You can get free gifts there. Some of the things we talked about, you can find on the site there. Things that I do. I give away free gifts on something called the Cycle of A's, how to get your mindset in the right space and stuff like that. Maybe we need another call with you guys.
Very nice.
Absolutely would love to have you back in the future.
Love to have you back on. In the meantime, you guys connect with Martin.
Martin, yes. Thank you so much,
Connectwithmartin.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming
Thank
on
you
with
so
us tonight.
much.
Yeah. Y'all have a great night.
Y'all have a great night. Thank you for watching.
Bye-bye.
Bye.